Hi, good morning, John Fugelsang. Personal comedy, Jesus. Personal comedy, Jesus. Come to me, come to me.
Bureau, hello goddess, hello mooks, hello assorted riffraff, hello whatever happens, I'm just so grateful that I blew my entire life savings on a new facial recognition software app right before we all started wearing masks. That's the one thing I'm most grateful for. Yeah.
Nicely done, sir.
Thank you.
There's all these...
Can I just say one thing to the rest of the world? Can I just say, I want to use your airways?
Yes.
I want to make an announcement to the rest of the world. What we meant to say in America was, half of us are better than this.
Right.
That's what we meant to say.
Right.
We're not better than this.
Right.
Half of us are better than this.
You misheard us. Thank you.
Yeah.
Love America. Thank you. I saw your tweet. Yeah. You said, dear rest of the world, the U.S. people have voted for the Democrats and against the GOP in 7 of our last 8 presidential elections. In this time, the GOP has held the White House for 12 years because dead slave owners who didn't want properly counted as full humans demand an electoral college. Thank you. Fernando Armani told us yesterday, Biden's popular vote win could end up being 7 to 8 million votes. Hillary's was 3 million.
Yeah. Well, 7-8 million's close, Stephanie, but not close enough. It's not over till the last lawsuit's been laughed out of the last court.
Yeah, but you said it. You tweeted, John. The top 3 highest vote getters in United States presidential election history. Number 1, Joe Biden. Mm-hmm. Number 2, Barack Obama. Now, number 3, Hillary Clinton.
But that's changed, of course. That has changed. Now Donald Trump is at number 3.
Okay.
This year. He did. So
he beat Hillary finally.
He finally beat Hillary Clinton. It took 4 years, and he finally got more votes than her. Congratulations! And by the way, if you're appalled that Donald Trump got 60 million plus votes, I don't even want to tell you that Kanye got 60,000 plus votes. That's the rock we stand on.
You thought some people were stupid. Well, okay, then that happened. Okay. Yeah, you were Trump tweeted, they're finding Biden votes all over the place. So bad for our country. You said, yes, that's what happens when you count every vote. That's what he means by finding.
Right.
You also said the very opening scene of The Inadequate Dictator involves blocking mail ballots. I did not know that, John. You're a noted historian.
In my movie that I made in my silent film
with Frank Conniff.
Yes.
It begins with me trying to mail a letter, my ballot, and Trump appears and knocks it out of my hand. And then I'm trying to wait online for a test, but Trump keeps coughing, so we can't get tested. And then I'm waiting for a bus, and Trump tries to separate a mother from her child with family separation. And then you just can't escape from him. That's the very serious premise of my silent film.
I can't wait for the Thanksgiving, because we're going to have a lot to be thankful for.
Yes.
The Thanksgiving virtual Sexy Liberal is November 21st. Mm-hmm. John, I thought I'd left it all in the field for the pre-election. I'm like, I got nothing. But now I'm like, well, I have to do Paula White now.
Who hasn't, Stephanie?
They keep writing more, right?
Who hasn't?
Who hasn't done Paula White? Mm-hmm.
You said, dear Paula White, you voted for grab them by the seat to turn away war refugee children, you godless prosperity gospel megachurch fraud. Even pro-choice people don't pray for satanic pregnancies to spontaneously abort, you devoid of Jesus snake oil factory. Thank you, John Fugelsang. Thank you.
You wouldn't think that would all fit in one tweet, but it did.
It did.
I'm really proud, yeah.
You're a wordy moho, and I love it. I love it. Also, again, noted historian, you said this is the U.S. history the most uncertain since that time Dick Cheney had heart surgery and Bush almost became president. Yeah,
that was scary.
I remember that.
That was scary. When Trump tweets in all caps, "Stop the count," does he mean the votes or the COVID-19 death toll? I'm not certain what he's wanting us to stop counting.
John, we talked to Dr. Redlener about this yesterday. I'm sure you've seen this. Trump spent, of course, the 2020 campaign ignoring the coronavirus, downplaying its impact. Now coronavirus is surging in states that supported Trump's campaign. In places where the virus is most rampant now, Trump enjoyed enormous support, the AP reported. Mm-hmm. And Associated Press analysis reveals that in 376 counties with the highest number of new cases per capita, the overwhelming majority, 93% of those counties went for Trump. A rate above other less severely hit areas. Most were rural areas in Montana, the Dakotas, Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa, and Wisconsin. John, we ask this question every election. How do you get people not to vote against their own self-interest, particularly when we hit 120,000 cases yesterday? I mean,
that's a good question. I mean, watching this, it's like watching Tina vote for Ike. You know, it's just. But how do you do it? I mean, Andrew Yang had a really good quote yesterday that'll make a lot of people uncomfortable. But he said that, what is it, when 60 million people vote this way, you've got to try to understand why. And it's true, we do. The fact, though, is that Democrats have to do a better job, and I really mean it. Democrats still haven't cracked the code of reaching out to rural, low information, low education white people and showing them.
I would take some.
Help. No. Listen, they try, but I really think the reason is abortion. I think abortion is how they get these people to vote against their own interest. And I think that what Mike Bloomberg needs to do, and I'm serious about this, Mike Bloomberg needs to start pouring like $100 million into the Right to Life Party in every swing state.
Yeah.
Because I really like billboards for Right to Life. You have an alternative, Right to Life Party. I really believe that a lot of folks would have voted for a pro-life alternative because and again, the Bible's not against abortion. It's all brainwashing. But I think that that's the way you cut into the vote, because abortion is the wall that Democrats.
But the majority of Americans want Roe v. Wade to stand. So I don't know that I agree with you on that. But
that's how the GOP gets these people to vote for them.
I would say this piece in Daily Kos. I know Tom Hartman was talking about it yesterday, and I know it's because it's about me, not in particular. It's also about you, sir, because the biggest political mistake in history. It's the radio, stupid. I mean, and I said this. I was joking, about a Goldwater Miller landslide, John, but there was no Fox News then. There was no right-wing radio. There was no two different sets of quote-unquote facts. Yeah. And, let me because this involves you and me and, more radio stations.
Yes.
Okay. Me, you, Randy, right? Michelangelo Signorelli, the whole crew.
Everybody.
Dino Medal, right. We have another election disaster, even if Biden wins, about if McConnell. I have not given up on the Senate, John, and neither have others. I still think we are going to take the Senate. We've got Alaska and 2 Georgia, states.
And we won't know until January anyway.
But anyway, James Carville famously, it's the economy stupid directive to Bill Clinton's campaign workers. But 2 years later, Democrats lost the House for the first time in decades. The Republican Congress thanked Rush Limbaugh by giving him an honorary seat. It's been the radio stupid for 30 years. Media is now concerned that Democrats have to learn how to communicate and appeal to Trump voters. You know why Trump appeals to a large chunk of the American electorate? It's the radio stupid. Andrea Mitchell asked David Plouffe, what are Democrats doing wrong if a scumbag like Trump can get nearly 50% of the vote? It's the radio, stupid. Just like about every Republican politician for the last 30 years, Trump piggybacked 1,500 unchallenged radio stations that are licensed to operate in the public interest, but spent most of the year calling COVID a Democrat hoax, like global warming a hoax they've been yelling about for 30 years. Like George W. Bush, Trump's another candidate who would never have gotten anywhere near the White House, much less close to in a national election, if Democrats didn't completely ignore 1,500 coordinated radio stations yelling over and distorting any national conversation on any major issue Republicans want to dominate. It's the radio, stupid, because it dominates the primary, secondary, and tertiary buzz in at least 40 states with 80 senators. Just finishing quickly. Sorry, it's the radio, stupid. An incredible amount of progressive activism is undone every day by a few hundred idiots and liars on 1,500 radio stations. Roger Stone once boasted how he used talk radio to stop the 2000 vote recount. All those same radio stations are now going to scream bloody murder about late vote counts favoring Biden. The counting has to stop, etc. It is poison, John. That and Fox News. And we've been screaming this for years.
Sinclair is now the radio on TV.
Yeah. But I mean, again, we have amazing progressive broadcasters like you and Tom Hartman and Randy Rhodes. Whatever. I'm riffraff compared to them. But, right, everybody on our SiriusXM Progress team, we have amazing. It's it's my thing, but it's right? That, liberal radio, people aren't good. They aren't good at it. Or they're not, it doesn't, really? I've been here for 30 years,
And you're still here.
Yes.
Yes.
Still here, damn it.
So do you support bringing back the fairness doctrine? Because I think that's a debate that we could start right now. You're not going to find conservative media infrastructure that's going to, blanket the South and the Midwest with progressive radio. I mean, again, this is a continuation.
Well, they bought radio stations. Conservatives.
Rush Limbaugh is part of the Southern strategy. It's still going on.
Yeah. Because this is what kills me. The GOP Senate wins wreak havoc on Biden transition plans. It could push Biden to go with more centrist options for his cabinet. Susan Rice and Stacey Abrams could be early casualties. A source close to McConnell said he would work with Biden on centrist nominees, but no radical progressives who are. Well, this is why we have got to go balls out on these
Did Donald Trump
Georgia
go
races.
moderate because he had a narrow election? Did Donald
No,
Trump go
no.
moderate?
This is
in
what I
his
mean. They're
campaign?
saying Sally Yates under consideration for attorney general could face resistance because of blah blah blah. It's like, oh,
Because he was
I don't
too
want to.
honest? Yeah, this is
Yeah,
rubbish. This is rubbish.
yeah.
The GOP doesn't do this. The Republican Party doesn't say, oh my, that was a close election. We better have a cabinet that reflects the diversity of American opinion.
I'm telling you, balls to the wall on these two Georgia races. We have not given up on Georgia,
Exactly.
on the Senate
Trump's
yet.
cabinet was
Alaska.
so right wing, they're speaking German. And yeah, we're not going to know until January anyway. And I can tell you, you will see very high turnout. And I wouldn't be surprised if other states look at that and say, hey, why don't we have runoff elections as well in our states? Because it's a good thing for democracy. Everybody who voted is going to show up to vote again, plus even more. And it gives people more time to hopefully see how incompetent Purdue is and what a crook Kelly Loeffler is.
Oh,
Why
my God.
did Martha Stewart go to jail and Kelly Loeffler's walking around for doing the same exact thing?
You're right,
except
John.
Kelly Loeffler did it behind your back.
They're both crooks and grifters, just like Trump, Purdue and Loeffler. And you're right. We have more time to laser focus now on those two races, right? I'm feeling
I did a
bullish.
fundraiser for John. I hosted a fundraiser with John Ossoff. He's done my show a few times, and I mean, Purdue was literally on the robocall for Women for Trump, which is all you really need to know about Women for Trump, that David Perdue was the speaker.
Yeah.
And he said, I mean, he thought it was over. I mean, but again, you know, you're going to have...
Not to mention, John Ossoff kicked his ass in that debate, and then he chickened out of...
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Fill in your Purdue chicken joke here, right? But, I mean, he's not going to be able to run away from a runoff, right? I mean,
this is why I think having to wait more time isn't a bad thing.
Oh, I love
know
it
we
now.
all want to have a victory dance.
I love
but
it.
the longer we wait to know who won the election, that means there's more time for people to learn about the process of counting every vote. There's a lot more time for us to talk about Louis DeJoy and the mail-in ballots. There's a lot more time to notice about how their president says count every vote in some state and stop the count in another state. And there's more time for Trump to melt down and lose it in public. Look, DeJoy deserves the jail.
I said that yesterday. I said he needs to go before the judge and then go to the jail.
Beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But the more time we wait on that, the more exposure can be thrown on it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, we're not going to wait as long as we did in 2000, but I don't mind this wait, because the more we wait, the more we have civics conversation in this country. It's why I don't mind that our presidential elections take a year and a half, because otherwise, how do we talk about issues to people in this country?
You know what? I'm going to make an analogy. It's like, you know how long you and I have been waiting to have sex? I mean, it's like been one long tantric experiment over many years of touring together. Many pictures at Sexy Liberal look like we're about to. Like we are right. Yeah.
Well, and then there's also all those times that you just don't remember. But I mean,
right.
You told me they don't count, and I accept your logic.
Okay. Listen, in my opinion, we've been nipple circling when it finally happens.
Yeah.